AMP value equivalent to $0.93 a coin. The present exchanged cost range in Tasma 95. The earlier day close 95. The change was 0.2 to 11%. Converse rate, US to AMP. AMP gauge for July 2024. In the first place, cost at $0.96. Exorbitant cost $119, while low costs $296. The found the middle value of costs $206. AMP cost gauge toward the month's end 111. Change for July 6%. AMP cost expectation for August 2024. At the outset, cost at $111. Excessive cost $113, while low cost $99. The arrived at the midpoint of cost 107. AMP cost conjecture toward the month's end 106. Change for August 5%. AMP conjecture for September 2024. At the outset, cost at $0.16. Excessive cost $132, while low costs $106. The arrived at the midpoint of costs $117. AMP cost conjecture toward the month's end 123. Change for September 16%. AMP cost expectation for October 2024. At the outset, cost at $123. Excessive cost $153, while low cost $123. The arrived at the midpoint of cost $136. AMP cost figure toward the month's end 143. Change for October 3%. AMP figure for November 2024. Initially cost at $143. Excessive costs $154, while low costs $134. The arrived at the midpoint of cost $144. AMP cost figure toward the month's end 144. Change for November's 7%. AMP cost expectation for December 2024. Initially cost at $144. Excessive cost $161, while low cost $114. The arrived at the midpoint of cost $149. AMP cost conjecture toward the month's end 150. Change for December 2%. AMP conjecture for January 2025. Before all else, cost at $115. Excessive costs $165, while low costs $143. The arrived at the midpoint of costs $153. AMP cost conjecture toward the month's ends $154. Change for January 7%. AMP cost expectation for February 2025. Before all else, cost at $154. Excessive costs $182, while low costs $154. The arrived at the midpoint of cost $165. AMP cost gauge toward the month's end 117. Change for February 4%. AMP estimate for WARC 2025. To start with, cost at $117. Exorbitant costs $99, while low costs $165. The found the middle value of cost $175. AMP cost estimate toward the month's end 177. Change for spring 1%. AMP cost expectation for April 2025. To start with, cost at $177. Exorbitant costs $197, while low costs $171. The found the middle value of cost $182. AMP cost estimate toward the month's end 0.4. Change for April 40%. AMP gauge for May 2025. Initially cost at $0.4. Excessive costs $1, while low costs $174. The arrived at the midpoint of costs $186. AMP cost figure toward the month's end 0.7. Change for May 6%. AMP cost expectation for June 2025. In the first place, cost at $0.7. Exorbitant costs $128, while low costs $100. The found the middle value of cost $192. AMP cost gauge toward the month's end 0.94. Change for June 7%. AMP gauge for July 2025. In the first place, cost at $194. Exorbitant costs $241, while low cost $194. The found the middle value of cost $214. AMP cost gauge toward the month's end 0.25. Change for July 16%. AMP cost expectation for August 2025. First and foremost, cost at $0.25. Exorbitant cost $279, while low costs $225. The found the middle value of cost $0.48. AMP cost estimate toward the month's end 0.61. Change for August 16%. AMP estimate for September 2025. First and foremost, cost at $0.61. Exorbitant cost $0.61, while low cost $0.11. The found the middle value of cost $4. AMP cost estimate toward the month's end 0.27. Change for September 13%. AMP cost expectation for October 2025. To start with, cost at $0 to $7. Exorbitant costs to 7, while low cost 0178. The found the middle value of cost June 6. AMP cost estimate toward the month's end 0191. Change for October 15.9%. AMP estimate for November 2025. To start with, cost at $0191. Exorbitant costs 2, while low cost 0176. The found the middle value of costs were 9. AMP cost estimate toward the month's ends 1 and 9. Change for November 10%. AMP cost expectation for December 2025. To start with, cost at $0 and $9. Exorbitant costs 1 at 9, while low costs 0148. The found the middle value of cost 0171. AMP cost estimate toward the month's ends 0159. Change for December 15.9%. AMP estimate for January 2026. To start with, cost at $0159. Exorbitant cost at 0159, while low costs 125. The found the middle value of cost 0144. AMP cost gauge toward the month's end 0134. Change for January 15.7%. AMP cost expectation for February 2026. In the first place, cost at $0134. Exorbitant cost 0134, while low cost 0111. The found the middle value of cost on 125. AMP cost gauge toward the month's end 0119. Change for February 11.2%. AMP gauge for Walk 2026. In the first place, cost at $0119. Excessive costs 119, while low costs 193. Be arrived at the midpoint of cost 008. AMP cost conjecture toward the month's end 0 to change for spring 16%. As to AMP expectation for April 2024. At the outset, cost at 96.15 coins. Excessive cost 131.58, while low 92.59. Be arrived at the midpoint of cost 108.17. The US to AMP conjecture toward the month's end 112.36. Change for April 16.9%. Dollar to AMP conjecture for May 2024. First and foremost, cost at 112.36 coins. Exorbitant cost 156.25, while low 108.70. The found the middle value of cost 124.45. The US to AMP estimate toward the month's end 120.48. Change for May 7.2%. US to AMP expectation for June 2024. First and foremost, cost at 120.48 coins. Exorbitant cost 120.48, while low 97.09. The found the middle value of cost 110.56. The US to AMP estimate toward the month's end 104.17. Change for June 13.5%. Dollar to AMP estimate for July 2024.